Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited, we are on the record.
Hi everyone, I'm Serena Pizan. I'm a journalist, host, and a producer. Welcome to On the Record. You know, I love talking about the community and especially children, how we can give back and how we can help the youth. Joining me in the studio today is Rick McClintock, the Executive Director of Friends of the Children, and Byron Pressley, who is the Program Director. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh, I mean, anytime that we can help, we love to do it. So Rick, why don't we start with you? Tell us about Friends of the Children.
30-year-old national organization, and we only have 30 minutes on our show. Friends of the Children is the brainchild of a gentleman who saw that every child has hopes and dreams, and many children have obstacles, systemic, personal, all of the above. What he did 30 years ago is create a scenario where we find children at the age of 5 or 6 in the foster care system, at Title I schools, through various social services agencies. We find children who have the most challenges facing them, who traditionally would be likely to end up in a system. We utilize professional, paid, trained mentors that we call friends to build relationships with these children at an early age and to stay with those children for 12 and a half years no matter what. The model is unique in terms of the mentors being professionals. The model is unique in terms of the relationships being 12 and a half years. And the unique impact of the program is that these children, with a resilient, caring, regular adult presence in their lives, have the chance to achieve their dreams, to break that cycle of generational poverty. And we've seen it work for 30 years.
You know, and that's incredible when you said you find the children at such a young age, but stay with them. Right. That is what makes it so unique. So Byron, you are the program director.
Yes.
What is your background, and how long have you been with Friends of the Children?
I've been with Friends of the Children since 2014. Started out as a friend, moved up from a friend to a team lead, to program supervisor, program manager, and now the program director. My background is criminal justice. I graduated from Florida A&M. Started out in the, the social work type atmosphere, dealing with felony probation, so forth, teaching. But my heart always was for giving back to the community because someone gave back to me. Gave me a chance, an opportunity to be able to do something in the world. So that was my motto and my goal. And I started mentoring kids, youth at a young age, not from 1993, and was working with the state of Florida for 20 years. And this opportunity came up to be a mentor, a friend to younger kids. I second-guessed it, and then I went on the whim and said, yeah, let's do it. I thought I had 10 years left with the state, but I decided to come with Friends of the Children, and I haven't second-guessed it since then. I've enjoyed it. I've seen our kids grow up from the elementary to now we have middle schoolers and then one high schooler in our program.
Wow. So Rick, what is your background, and how did you get involved with Friends of the Children?
I'm everything that Byron isn't in terms of, and I say that in a loving way. I was in corporate America for many years and had opportunities to do basically financial technology sales around the country. Worked for large financial institutions, but always enjoyed volunteering. Had a heart for kids and wanted to do something as a second career. Had the opportunity a year and a half ago to leave the corporate world to look around and see what might be tugging me in the right direction. And I was fortunate to have a conversation one day with Johnny Bush, who's the principal at Plant High School in Tampa, a man I've known for years, who sits on the board of Friends of the Children. And my quick 5-minute conversation with Johnny ended up being about an hour conversation, where he told me how difficult the work is that Friends do and how incredibly meaningful it is. And they were looking for an executive director. I was coming from outside nonprofit, which was some interest to the organization. So I came on board last April. The hardest thing I've ever done, the most rewarding thing I've ever done, and the beauty of it is, and I hope Byron would attest to this, I came in saying, I see my job simply as trying to find resources where I can for the Friends, trying to eliminate barriers, but the real work of the organization is done by Byron and the friends who spend 4 hours a week, every week, with every one of the children, and are bringing them along that life journey to where they want to be.
Wow. So, you know, Byron, going back to you when you said that people gave back to you, and of course we're going to talk more about the organization. How did someone help you all those years ago?
Well, growing up in the projects, you can say that there were the big brother, big sister, but that big brother, big sister wasn't enough for me. So you had people locally in the community or at the church I attended, they became more of a mentor, and so a role model. And where people were telling me I couldn't or would not be, they were telling me I could. And so there was that moral support. And then when I got into high school, she's still my mentor today. Now she's Reverend Felicia Tucker Johnson. She motivated me into public speaking. That I was shy, would not say anything, but she motivated me into public speaking for a Black History program. And I won, first time ever entering it. I won the contest.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so ever since then, it took off from there. And I've always said that I would always give back to someone or the community. I would go back to the community and give back to the youth, the younger, so that they'll know that just like I had a struggle, you may have a struggle, but you, in the end, you can make it. You can be successful. And just to say that, I ended into ministry. And now I'm an ordained preacher as well, so I pastor. So it's a lot. I enjoy what I do because I know that children look up to us. And it's a lot when you can see that child just grow from what they were or what somebody said they couldn't be into where they are. And then if they struggled in school, because I'm right there with them or the friend is right there with them alongside, it's that constant person in their life. And that makes a big difference.
Yeah, you're walking proof of it. I mean, you're walking proof.
Yes.
I would like to, you guys shared a video with us. So why don't we play the video now, and then we'll talk more about Friends of the Children. But let's play the video.
Danica in my life, it's just always a delight to be with Danica. Like, she never provides a dull moment ever.
She's super vivacious, she's energetic, she has a lot of attitude, you know, she has her own way of thinking. I love her. That's my baby.
We spend 4 hours a week with the youth. We stay with them 12 and a half years no matter what. And so that's basically kindergarten or 4 to 6 years old until they graduate high school. The first meeting, it was like getting to know, like, you know, the first day of school. But she was very open and willing to, you know, converse and get to know me as I got to know her. So it was a lot of fun.
It made me happy when Miss Brianna picked me up from school and she took me to the park. We like to play red light, green light, and we like to play hide and seek.
Danica is now in the 2nd grade. And so on the first day of school, you know, her mom and dad dropped them off to school, and I got a call in the middle of the day, and her mom was like, her dad passed out, and so they were rushing back to the hospital. She called me later on that afternoon and said, Miss Brianna, he passed. Could you bring the kids home? And then, you know, I don't know how to go about telling them. I don't know how to go about, you know, informing them about the situation. And so I was like, you know, whatever you need, I'm here for you.
Brianna was there when I found out. I went in my room and started crying, and she come in there and helped me. She didn't say anything, she just pat me on the back. She was helping me through a tough time.
With that, you know, she really helped me. She calls, she talks, she asks me, you know, if there's anything wrong. She's always been that person that I know I can call in any situation. If I'm feeling bad, if I'm feeling sad, if I just want to cry, I know I can call Miss Brianna.
Oh my gosh, that was such a moving video. I mean, it brings you near tears. You look like you're near tears, like watching it again.
So we know Brianna and Danica very well.
Yes. So, you know, and that's just one story.
Sure.
That's what, you know, you were sharing with me before. So talk to me a little bit about that video and why you feel it is so powerful. Clearly it is.
So we grew out of an organization 8 years ago and have a cohort of kids who are middle schoolers. But we realized a few years ago, prior to my time, that there was a secondary approach to our model, which was to partner with Title I schools. So we built a partnership with Foster Elementary School in Tampa, and found 13 more kids who were perfect matches for the work we do. Hired Brianna, who had been a substitute teacher at the time.
Wow.
And Brianna began to build this relationship not just with 8 little girls who were 5 and 6 years old, but with their families and with Foster Elementary School. Became an enormous part of their life. She's just a joy to be around. She's a wonderful human being, but she's also become very quickly an integral part of these children's families. And again, Danica is in 2nd grade. They've known each other for almost 2 years now, so not any longer than that. But this is a child who has faced lots of trauma and challenges in her life, as was her family, and she lost her father to COVID last year.
Oh,
she's
bless her
just had
heart.
a very difficult scenario. And the beauty of Friends of the Children, I think, as you saw from that video, was that not only does Danica but her mom have a relationship with Brianna where she's a trusted partner of their family, a part of their family, an advocate for their family. But she represents hope to them, because Danica will never have her dad again, but will always have wonderful memories of her father. And she has her mother, and she has Brianna in her life as her adult figures to keep her going, to continue teaching her life lessons and such. So Brianna's, all of our friends are special, but Brianna's special.
Yeah.
Gosh, you know, I have so many questions. One of the questions that immediately came to mind is, I know you find these kids when they're very young. How do you find them, though? Do the schools help identify the children that need help, or how does that process work?
Well, we actually go into the school system and literally observe 4 to 6 weeks of the entire classroom.
Wow.
And then we will collaborate with the teachers in the classroom to see what youth or what child would need more, help or assistance. And we kind of focus on them more, but we still look at the entire classroom, and we sit and we just observe, take notes mentally, because we don't use any pad or pencil, because we don't want the kids to see us, taking notes. So we just physically 4 to 6 weeks we're in the classroom setting. We go to lunch with them. And then once we decide the youth that we would like to select for our program, we meet with the teacher, the parent, the principal, and we all come together and we explain to them what our program can offer. We're that one person or that one adult who's consistent in that child's life, 4 hours a week, 2 hours in the school, and then 2 hours out in the community doing different type of outings to help promote education or to help them even be successful in life.
Wow. Okay, hold that.
It's really important to note, because the populations we're looking into to find children, there is no shortage of trauma, of poverty, of homelessness, of issues. But we're genuinely trying with the best of intentions to find those children who have kind of been through the most, who can most benefit from having someone come into their life. So we're not stacking the deck to be successful. We're intentionally trying to find those children who are going to most benefit from the work we do.
We'll hold that thought, because we're going to go to a commercial break, and I would love to discuss more on how these children are selected. Just such a fascinating process. Okay, stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. I'm Serena Fazan, a journalist, producer, and podcast host. With a background in television news, I know how much time and talent it takes to produce a broadcast quality production. But no more. Red House Streaming offers a simple, cost-effective method for capturing live action and streaming it in real time to YouTube, Facebook, or any other website. From single camera shoots or multi-camera productions, conventional or virtual sets, and from the state-of-the-art Red House Streaming Studios to remote locations, the professional crew at Red House Streaming, backed by the technology and reputation of CP Communications, allows you to produce more content at a lower cost and with little to no engineering required. That's why my podcast, On the Record with Serena Fazan, is streamed live from the Red House Streaming Studios each week. Contact Red House Streaming today at 800-762-4254 or online at cpcoms.com to learn more. I'll see you in the studio.
At Precision, our mission is more than fixing broken garage doors.
I think it looks great.
And selling new ones.
It looks amazing.
We aim to help those in need and to honor and lift up those who are making a difference.
Thank you so much.
Through our outreach program called Opening Doors in Our Community. People like Steve Chamberlain, who is fitting kids with prosthetic legs.
The people I've met, the families, we've changed so many lives.
Or members of the military.
I'm the airman.
Oh boy, and I'm the Army.
Like Frank Elliott.
We're teamwork, right?
Exactly, yeah.
That's why we're here for you today.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
And of course, the people on the front lines during COVID, like Jessica, an ER nurse. At Precision, we want to thank everyday heroes for all you do. It was an honor to help you, and together, we are opening doors in our community.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to On the Record. We're talking about a wonderful nonprofit organization today, Friends of the Children. We have Rick McClintock here, who's the executive director, and Byron Pressley, who is the program director. And we were talking before the break on, wow, 4 to 6 weeks in a classroom where you observe children. What age? Is it kindergarten? Is it first grade? What grade do you go into?
Kindergarten. We started the kindergarten class, and then once we picked them out of kindergarten, we actually meet. We go over a behavioral chart to see where they fall, and then their needs, where they fall at. And that's how we determine the youth that we feel that will be, we could show success with them. And then we assign them their friends. And then we have a meeting with the parents. And from the parents, meeting with the parents, introducing normally the executive director, myself, along with the friend. They meet, and then the friend and the parent, they set up times and days for the friend to come and get the youth, and they start building that relationship.
That's amazing. And this organization, as you said, Rick, earlier in the show, is a national organization.
It is.
So how many children, though, are selected, or how many children can be selected locally?
So, great question. There are now officially 25 chapters around the country. We started in Portland, Oregon. And you'd go to cities like Portland, New York, Klamath Falls. We have chapters that have dozens of friends and hundreds of children. In Tampa, we have eight friends now and 55 children. So we are striving to put ourselves better on the map here. Mm-hmm. We're striving to gain more financial footing because we see great opportunities for growth. We talked earlier about the fact that the greatest value, the benefit of Friends of the Children, frankly, is also the biggest barrier to growth, because we're selecting a child and a family, mm-hmm. building a relationship, and committing to them for 12 years. No one funds nonprofits for 12 years.
So I want people to embrace that. That they are committed to children for 12 years, right? 12 years. Wow. Okay, so please continue. Please continue.
So again, the greatest gift we give to these children is also the most difficult attribute of our fundraising model. We're going to families and saying, we're going to build a relationship with you and your child. We're going to advocate for that child. We're going to teach life skills to that child. We're going to share in their hopes and dreams, their challenges, their traumas. But at the end of that 12 and a half years, this child has an 83% chance of having broken that cycle of generational poverty.
So when you said 83% chance, I mean, were you being serious? Are those the statistics
I'm actually
that it show?
being semi-serious. We are very much data hounds. Mm-hmm. Again, if you're going to seek a 12-year investment from an investor, you better have a good story to tell. And so our organization has a 30-year history of documenting every interaction we have with a child, documenting what work is done on healthy behaviors, on decision making, on problem solving, on hope, on the core assets, if you will, that we think help children achieve their goals. But we document those interactions. We measure that activity. We measure that progress. We do that daily, weekly, monthly. We do it in comparison to all of other chapters. And to get to your question, what we see over the span of 30 years of this program, not in Tampa yet because we don't have any high school kids yet, what we see over 30 years is that these children are statistically far more likely to be enlisted, enrolled, or employed at the end of high school, whereas their parents in many cases weren't enlisted, enrolled, or employed. They are in 97% of the cases not having babies when they're teenagers, when over half of these children were born to teenage parents. They're avoiding the criminal justice system over 90% of the time, when at least half of these children have had incarcerated parents. So the 83% is, for instance, a number I didn't completely pull out of the air, but it says that 83% of our children will get their high school diploma or their GED, where a small fraction of their parents achieved that.
Wow.
So we measure success, if you will, ideally in a child achieving their dreams. But from a pure metrics perspective, we look at things like, are these kids finishing school? Are they getting jobs? Are they enlisting in college or enlisting in the military? Are they staying out of the system? Are they waiting till they're older to have children? So we measure those metrics very specifically on a national basis, and the research is crystal clear that relative to their parents and caregivers, relative to their peer group, they are achieving far beyond what could otherwise be expected.
How are Friends of the Children, it is a nonprofit as you mentioned, but how is it funded? Because an unusual aspect of Friends of the Children is that there are not volunteers. It's not a volunteer-based organization. There's employees.
Yeah. Correct.
So how are you funded?
So if you look at our budget, we basically, like a lot of nonprofits, we pull from various pools. In a perfect world, we would see 25% of our funding from generous individuals. We'd see 25% from corporations. We'd see 25% from foundations, community and otherwise. And we'd see 25% from the public sector. We are high on the personal investment side. We're low on the corporate sector. We get some public money. We get wonderful support from national. So we are all over that pie chart right now. But our goal is to, as with any nonprofit, is to build a more sustainable, diverse funding foundation that pulls equally from those four silos of money, if you will.
Well, let's put it on the record that you guys are looking for bigger corporate sponsors.
Sure.
I mean, there's no better investment, in my eyes, than our children, of course. Well, so coming up, you have a breakfast.
We do.
So what is the breakfast about? And it is an annual event, correct?
Correct. This will be our 4th annual Breakfast with Friends. It was a virtual event last year, but there were 2 live events before that. It's intended to be an opportunity for people to come to Armature Works in downtown Tampa to see in a holding room stories and pictures and artwork that our children have done, to interact with other community leaders, business leaders, investors, and then ultimately to be greeted by a master's ceremonies.
We're announcing that on the record, by the way. Thank you so much. I'm very flattered and honored to be your MC this year.
The honor is all ours.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
But we will spend about 45 minutes with coffee and breakfast sharing the national story, sharing locally what we've done, what we've achieved, what we hope to achieve, trying to educate that audience very efficiently in terms of why this is such a unique and impactful long-term investment. And ultimately, we will say to folks, please help us grow and sustain this work by adding more kids and continuing to work with the kids that we already work with.
Do you guys know, how did it start 30 years ago? And you said it started in Portland.
Correct. Yes.
Do you what was the mission of the founder? Do we know any? And I should have researched it, but this show is unedited, unscripted. Shame on me for not doing that. But how did it start all those years ago?
I'm going on the record that I'm going to give you a signed copy of Duncan Campbell's book.
Okay.
Duncan Campbell is the man who started this organization. It's a 75-year-old story, but the 30-second version is Duncan is a self-described child that was neglected, that was the child of alcohol-abusing parents, was left on his own, was a child who, now we know, would have been a perfect candidate to be a child in Friends of the Children. Didn't exist. He had mentors in his life, teachers and coaches, that he, upon reflection, realized were what allowed him to achieve his hopes and dreams. He had adults that weren't his parents, but adults who interacted with him, encouraged him, taught him, suggested things for him, advocated for him. And he was a smart enough guy that he took those lessons that he was given from mentors. He went to college. He became a CPA. He became an attorney. He became an entrepreneur. He sold a timber business for 8 figures. But the entire time he was building himself up by his bootstraps, having had mentors, he never lost a dream he had as a child to say, I don't want any other child to go through what I went through.
Wow.
So he started a chapter with 24 kids and 3 friends in Portland, Oregon, and said, research suggests long-time, longitudinal, caring, resilient mentoring will allow these kids to achieve what otherwise they wouldn't. And that, we're 30 years old this year with 25 chapters and thousands of kids that are living proof that Duncan had a good idea.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank goodness for people like him, as well as people like the 2 of you in our community. I mean, we feel so blessed. And again, I'm so honored to be able to take part in the breakfast this year. If people want to attend the breakfast, can they still?
Absolutely. We will be posting on our website, which is simply friendstampabay.org, all kinds of information about the event. People can register to attend. People can sponsor the event still. People can donate without attending the event. Though you'd miss Serena in that event.
Please come. We would appreciate that.
But yeah, we will do everything we can. Our website's the best place to start, but friendstampabay.org, to figure out what we're doing, when we're doing it, and how people can participate.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here. And I want to point out to the audience, too, if you have a story that you would like me to share, very easy to find. Just, send us an email. Send us an email or find us on social media. I can also be followed on many, 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 many social media platforms. They keep on growing. And now we're also on Roku, which is very exciting. But again, gentlemen, Byron Pressley, Rick McClintock, Friends of the Children, thank you so much for being here. This is why I love my show so much, going on the record, sharing such wonderful stories.
And thanks
for having us.
Absolutely. Stay safe, everyone.
Bye-bye.